It's been a really long time since I recorded a podcast, so not gonna lie, this feels a bit uncomfortable, but it's okay. I'm just gonna be a bit rusty and then I'll get used to it. It'll be fine. I was just looking at the last time that we uploaded to the Young, Fun, and Sober podcast, Blazik and I, and that was in April of 2024. So that was even before I had moved to the country that I now live in. I live here in the Netherlands. I live in a city, a southern city. I don't live in Amsterdam. It's a bit more south. It's called Eindhoven. And I moved here in June of 2024. So I've been here for over a year. It's actually closer to like a year and a half now, which is insane. But obviously, as you can tell, a lot has changed in my life since I last spoke to anyone in podcast form. Also, just this past week on Thursday of last week, I think it was. No, it was Friday of last week. It was Halloween. I celebrated 4 years alcohol free. So quite the accomplishment, and it gave me inspiration to get back on the microphone and speak to you guys because I just feel like it was time. I just feel like it was time, and something was telling me that I need to talk about my life and all the things that have changed. I really don't have too much structure planned for this episode. I don't think it's going to be very long, but I want to upload more things. I have so many topics and ideas that I want to talk about, but first we just need to have a life update. So as I said, I live in the Netherlands. You guys know I'm originally from Chicago, so I'm quite far from home now, and I could have never realized how hard I was going to take the transition from moving out of Chicago to the Netherlands. I didn't know that was going to affect me as much as it did. And the first year was really, really hard. I would say only recently things have started to feel better. And that's no one's fault. It's just I am a Chicago girl at heart, and I have a huge support system in Chicago. And yeah, it was really hard, and it is really hard to be away from that support system, from my family, pretty much all of my family. Also born and raised in Chicago, still living in Chicago or the outskirts of Chicago. My friends, I'm still very, very close friends with the girls that I grew up with. My one friend Emily and I, we met when we were in first grade. So have these people in my life for so many years, and to be so far away from them, it's just really difficult. And yeah, on top of that, I had the whole sober Chicago community, and that was so nice. That was so nice to have. I miss them so much. I know a lot of those girls actually, their life has taken them other places. They might not still live in Chicago either, but a good amount of them still do. And yeah, to put a long story short, I had a really hard transition. When I first came to Eindhoven, I didn't have a job. I was unemployed and living off of my savings. And that is, for someone like me that has a lot of anxiety, worries, fears, I'm pretty pessimistic. In my most natural form is very fear-based, I would say. And so I came here to Eindhoven, and so you guys know I came here for love. My boyfriend has already been living in Eindhoven for 4 years now. So when I came here, he was, pretty established already. And it was really a leap of faith, I would say. I was hopeful that I was going to find a job, and luckily I did. And I found a job pretty quickly, actually. I moved in June of 2024, the very beginning of June, and I was working by September, it was either September 1st or September 15th, I can't remember, of 2024. So it was only 3 months, but those 3 months just felt very uneasy for me because I just didn't know what my future looked like. And in Chicago, everything was really safe for me. Everything just felt really safe. I feel like I knew the city really well. I had a network of people, a support system constantly around me. And then I come to this new city and it's like, I don't have a job. Yes, I have my relationship, but as most people know, that's not enough for a lot of people to be living and thriving and feeling like they are fully fulfilled. You need to have hobbies and friends and other types of connections in your life. So when I came here and I didn't have those things, plus I didn't know when I was going to get paid next, so I didn't want to go out and be, socializing is expensive usually, and Eindhoven is not a very cheap city to live in. So I was just feeling a bit incomplete. That's a good way to put it, actually. And it was very strange because since I stopped drinking, I just felt so myself. I talked about this so many times in podcasts and TikToks and on Instagram. I was preaching this all the time that I just feel so myself. I know who I am. And even when I went into a room in Chicago and maybe I didn't know a lot of people, I just didn't really care if they liked me or not. I had this energy about me that I knew I was always trying my best, and I knew that I deserved to be proud of who I am and the type of person that I am. And then I moved here, and it was like, it felt so strange to feel so not that way. I became very, to put it blatantly, very insecure. I would walk into rooms and I would really want people to like me. And that felt strange because I didn't feel that way for a really, really long time. I think that I felt that way when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, and I think that's completely normal. But I didn't feel that way once I stopped drinking, and that was in my mid 20s. I stopped drinking when I was 26. So very strange and quite uncomfortable, just to be blatantly honest. I did start working though in September, as I just said, and luckily I love my job. I love my job. I'm so happy at my job. I love the company that I work for, and I love my boss. I love the people that I work with. I got really, really lucky that the first job that I found here, it just really worked out. And I feel like I'm being challenged. I'm learning so much because although I'm still in the world of training and development, which is what I was doing in the States, my last job in the States, it's a completely different field. It's technology, it's tech. Before, I was working for an insurance company for 3 years when I was living in Chicago. So definitely out of my comfort zone because I don't have a technical background, but luckily the people that I work with and just the way that the company is designed, I'm able to be learning all the time. And it's just super cool. I mean, I work with people that are from all different countries. Eindhoven is extremely, extremely international. And that's because there's so many tech companies here, really big tech companies. Philips, you guys all know Philips, right? Like light bulbs and such. Really put Eindhoven on the map because Philips was based here. It gave the city of Eindhoven so many job opportunities. And now, although Philips is not like the top dog out of all the tech companies here now, it really laid that foundation for other tech companies to be thriving now. And I work for one of those now. So once I started working, things definitely got better, but they took time. And I really just finally decided in September of 2024, like, okay, I got myself a job. I need to be proud of myself about that. And now I have an income. So I need to really be I need to put myself out there, and I need to make friends, because I'm, like I mentioned before, a girl that comes from I have a big group of girlfriends that I've had my whole life. And to be so far away from them is just, it's painful. To be completely honest, it's really painful. So in September of last year, I started to take dance classes at a dance studio that's very near where I live now. And I'm still going to that dance studio to this day. I go twice a week. And when I first started there, I was doing commercial style dance, which I would say the teacher, she would do a combination of different genres, but most of the time I would say it leaned hip hop. But that teacher then moved on to a different studio, and only now in my studio are they teaching high heels dance classes. So that's what I take now. And yeah, I had never taken high heels classes before, so there was a huge learning curve. I felt when you see girls doing high heels dance, they look like so feminine, powerful. It's super inspiring to watch them dance, and that is not what I looked like for a really, really long time. But now I feel a lot more comfortable dancing in this way, in this style of dance. And I've met, of course, people at my dance studio that are now some of my really good friends. So I would say my best friends that I have here, yeah, I met through work or I met through my dance studio. So overall, things are going much, much better now. So I don't want to worry anybody. It just took a really long time for me to get to where I am today, because at the end of the summer in 2024, I basically felt like I had lost myself. And it was really sad because I felt like I lost all this confidence that I built in myself on my alcohol-free journey. I was so unapologetically me. And all of a sudden, it's like I turned into this like cowering, insecure, second-guessing myself constantly. After every social interaction I had, I would go home and just like overthink everything that I did or said, because I don't know, I'm like surrounded by people that are from all over the world, and a lot of them have traveled the world, and they've been traveling the world since they were like 18. And that's just not so much a thing in the States. Yes, I did the whole study abroad thing, but it's not the same. I don't think it's the same, because that was such a temporary thing. I eventually came back to the States, and I just felt like everyone around me was here. Like I mentioned before, this city is full of tech companies, and so it's a lot of engineers. I feel like I'm surrounded by engineers, physicists, and yeah, just like super smart people. And I came here and it was like I was unemployed and I just didn't know which direction my life was going. But I figured it out eventually. It is a bit hard now to look back at the journal entries that I had from that first year here because I am just so lost and I'm so hard on myself, and it's really, really heartbreaking to read those things. You guys know I'm a journal person, especially when things are not going so well in my life. I'm journaling a lot because I just need the thoughts to live somewhere else. That summer when I was unemployed, my thoughts were killing me. I was just like in the apartment, honestly, afraid to leave. I mean, I live in the Netherlands and I live in Eindhoven. It's a place that is, everyone speaks English. It's not like I was scared that I couldn't handle social interactions when I went out, but for some reason I had this fear in me. I really only liked to leave the apartment when I was with my partner, and that just made me feel very dependent. And in Chicago, I was like the opposite of that. I was so independent, and it was just like I had, a very secure job. I had my own car. I had, so many different groups of friends. I was going to 2 different gyms in Chicago. I just had so much going for me. And so, yeah, just starting over was a bit, it really rocked my world. But now I'm looking back and I'm thinking, during the times in which life is painful is usually actually when we're learning the most, we're growing the most. And I know for a fact I am definitely a stronger person than I'm a more stronger person now than I was when before I came to Eindhoven. Although I had this like big sense of myself in Chicago, let's just say for argument's sake, May of 2024, right before I moved, part of me kind of thinks like I felt like I was I'm using air quotes now, a big fish in a small pond. Like I just knew Chicago so well because it was the only place that I lived. So now I've sort of made it work in a totally different place, in a place that's completely out of my comfort zone, and it's starting to become more of my comfort zone. And that just took a lot of self-reflection, and I had to learn how to love myself when I didn't have full control. I didn't have this like full sense of control over my life. I had to let things be unknown for a certain amount of time, and that was really, just uncomfortable for me. So I don't know how long that ramble was, but if you're still with me, thanks. The other thing that I just really quick wanted to mention, which I mentioned it before, is the fact that I am 4 years alcohol free now, which is just, what? The time is flying. I feel like, I definitely do feel like alcohol freeness, the alcohol free life is just solely part of my identity, and all of my friends and peers know that about me here. It's definitely a huge part of who I am. So in one hand, it feels like, of course it's been 4 years, but then in the other hand, it's just like, I don't know. Time is going by so fast. And also I'm 30. What? I'm 30. That's crazy. I'm not 20 anymore. Okay. Yeah, 4 years is a huge accomplishment, and I'm really, really proud of myself, to be completely honest. Also meeting new people in a new place. I would say Eindhoven is, and the Netherlands in general, is very like health conscious, but people still like to drink here for sure. And when international people are wanting to meet each other, a lot of the times that can be accompanied by alcohol. Just events for people to meet each other is usually at like a bar, or it's like the classic paint and sip type of situation. There's a lot of like game nights or language exchanges, and these are happening at bars. So I would say my decision to not drink is well received here, but it does add a layer of difficulty when it comes to meeting people. And sometimes when I do meet people for the first time and maybe it feels like we're, vibing and could be friends, and they do ask me to go get drinks with them, I am very upfront of like, yeah, I would love to go get drinks. I don't drink alcohol, but I would love to join. And sometimes I do still get the raised eyebrow of like, what? Why? At all? Nothing? Yes, nothing. No alcohol. So yeah, those are my main life updates. I have other ideas for things that I want to talk about, but I think I'm going to wait and see how this episode is received. Let's see if anybody listens to me or not. I hope somebody does. I hope someone is curious. I'm curious how everybody is doing in the alcohol-free world. I did post on Instagram about the 4-year anniversary, and I received so much love and support, like I always do. The sober community is just the best. Like, everyone is just wanting to lift each other up, and I've always felt that, and I appreciate it so much. I probably should have leaned on it more when I was going through that really, really awful time, my first year here, but it's okay. Hindsight is 2020. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope to speak to you again soon. I'm gonna just upload this to YouTube, I think, because that is the only platform that I know how to upload to. I don't know how to upload to Spotify and Apple Podcasts yet. So if you are listening to the end and you want to leave me a comment and just say hello and tell me how you're doing, that would be lovely. Okay, bye.